Hello and welcome to Cedar Creek Homestead. Today's our coffee time vlog, and just a few minutes to just share with you what's going on here at the homestead. Just a little talk time. I'm planning to air this every Tuesday. I'm just kind of getting things lined out. I'm going to call it coffee time. Coffee time on the homestead. Plan on having me a little cup of coffee. This morning it's a little stuffy and it's already iced tea time, and I'm fixing to go back to the house to get me a good old glass of tea, but just take a few minutes and talk to you. My subject today is whatever happened to good old customer service. And boy, it seems like today it's not what it used to be. And when you shop other places, and I don't know if it's because everyone's using their phones now to communicate. There's a lot of people who communicate now just via phone. They text you and stuff, and that's okay. I have to use that in the business I have and stuff. That's just kind of a necessary evil, I guess. But it seems like the younger ones are getting less and less of knowing how to communicate. Not picking on the younger ones, but it seems like it's getting worse as it goes down. But I'll just give you some examples, and I've shared this already if you've seen one of my videos. I'd ordered some baby turkeys from Cackle Hatchery, and I ordered 15 of them. That's their minimum order. Well, I only got 14 in the box, and when I called, the whole way I was treated, the whole aspect of all, it was very disappointing. The little turkeys are $10 something a piece plus freight, so you're probably getting $14, $15 a bird. That's not going to break me, cause me to go into bankruptcy, but I did expect a little courtesy, but never, more like they thought I was lying about losing a turkey. In fact, the lady said, "Where's the other two?" And she said, "We even packed you an extra one." I said, "No, you didn't put an extra in there. There's only 14 in the box, and it should have been 15. I didn't know they sent you an extra." It's been a while since I've ordered in chicks like that. I usually just buy from our local feed stores and farm stores, stuff like that. They already have them there, and you just see them and want some. But I wanted bourbon red turkeys, so I ordered them. Still, the lady said they would credit me back for a turkey. That's fine. I wasn't that upset over the money part at all, but she said, "I'll credit you back." Now, I know people that would have had a conniption over one missing bird. And then if they found out they were supposed to got a free bird, they'd even got really upset. But I'm not mad at them over that, other than I just felt their customer service was horrible. In the past few years, I have thought a lot about customer service, and used to Sears and Walmart and the big name places, they were known for their customer service. If you called them, you were going to get somebody, they were going to take care of you. And the last 15, 20 years, that stuff has gone downhill. And if you go to Walmart, you're lucky if one of their employees even says hello to you. They're telling me that Walmart is working on getting away from even having tellers at all. It'll all be automated. I've heard that they're doing away with door greeters, the people that mark your package when you bring it in if you have a return. And the ones that used to would say hello to you, they were usually older people, and they was real friendly, and want to help you. They'd have you a shopping cart ready. Our local Walmart now, it's on them big super centers, they don't have you a shopping cart ready. You have to get your own, and they just don't seem all that friendly like they used to did. I'm just thinking of what's happening to customer service. Used to Sears, they're going by the wayside, but man, they used to be the best place to go shop. And I remember when I was a youngster and working, my uncle owned a business and I worked for him, and when a customer would come in, he wanted you to get right over there and say, "Can I help you?" And if they didn't need any assistance, if they said, "No, we're just looking around," then you left them alone and let them do their thing. But if they needed assistance, if you couldn't figure it out, you went and got someone who could, but you took care of the customers when they come in. He had a dandy business, and I believe he'd built it on customer service. If someone had a problem with something that they'd gotten from us, he took care of people that took care of him, and he just was really good with customers and taught me a lot about customer service. He always wanted you to make sure you said thank you to them after they purchased something. Say, hey, thank you, we appreciate your business, something like that. And then when you answered the phone, he'd want you to say, thanks for calling Gore Marine and blah, blah, blah. He had a spiel he wanted you to say there. And so, but his customers, he knew, and he didn't advertise, so he knew that word of mouth was the best advertisement. He had people coming from hundreds of miles to do business with his place, and still it's known. I mean, it's closed down now. He's retired and went out of business, but he had the best thing going for a long time, and actually make his competitors very mad because he could sell stuff cheaper because he didn't have to advertise. He wasn't on TV and stuff. I noticed our local Tractor Supply, got their hat on here. They gave me a free hat, that's why I'm wearing it. But used to, they were much more friendly when they first come in business around here, and the people that was in there, I remember they had a lady for a long time that worked the front register, and when you come in, she'd say hello to you, and they still do that, but it's almost like when you come in now, they're getting paid to say it. We're used to, she said it because she was excited to see people coming in, and she would work the register. She knew everything about the store. I mean, she was just good. My dad, other people commented on what a wonderful job she done. Well, after probably 4, 5, 6 years of working there, she up and disappeared, and my dad and mom seen her somewhere one day, and they said, hey, we don't see you at Tractor Supply anymore. What happened to you? And she said, well, I worked there for several years, and they kept needing managers for the store, and said they would hire people in that knew absolutely nothing about the store. And she said maybe they'd have a higher education than I had or something like that, but they'd hire them and said they might make it a month or 2 months, and they were gone. And our store just kept going down and down, and she said I kept putting in for the jobs, and I'd keep being turned down. And so she said finally someone offered me a job, and she said I took it, making more money, and got to move up, in management. So she was, I don't know where she went to work at, and I haven't ever heard. My dad may have known and told me, I just can't recall now. It don't really matter. But the point is that had they put her into the position of management, it may have ruined her, but it may have actually, her personality, her attitude, her abilities there would have rubbed off on the other employees and actually helped. Now they have such a big change of hands there, and the attitude just doesn't seem to be much, and it's still a good place to go shop, but the customer service is just lacking. And Sears, Walmart, like I say, they're talking about Walmart doing away with people even checking you out at the register, where you're going to have to do these automated checking machines, and they're trying to save money, I guess, because minimum wages went up in most states. So if you eliminate those jobs and you have a computer doing it, you can be open 24/7 and very little monitoring of what goes on. I'm sure they'll still have to have some humans there to watch what goes on. But they're even pushing more and more on online sales, and you talk about the really lack of customer service. Except for the few times I have found problems online, it seems like they're very quick to take care of you. If you get something that's broken, when you get it, or you don't get something, you can notify them, and you don't actually ever talk to a human being. But it seems like I've had better results for the most part through not even interacting with humans. And but you want to talk about, it's just hard to believe that we're headed in that direction. But good old customer service seems to be a thing of the past, and everything now is going online. And I love to order stuff online. I like to order stuff on Amazon, and one of the reasons is I can sit there and shop on my own convenience. I don't have to go to a town. For here, you're talking a 30-minute drive to get anywhere other than our local people that's right here in our small town, and I shop them as much as I can, but they're limited on what they have. But I can get online at night, maybe 10 o'clock at night, and I'll get online and need a little something, I can order it 2 days later. We pay for that service through Amazon, but you get it here. I order through other places, but some of them offer free freight if you have it over a certain amount. But customer service just seems like it's a thing of the past. These big companies now, they have that big company culture. Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, Tractor Supply, Orsolan's, Atwood's, all of them that I know have a big company culture. When they first started, they started out so good, and it seems like they've gone downhill, and it seems like they don't have the business they have either. But like this big company culture, they're always like, the customer's always right. Let me tell you, folks, the customer is not always right. As a customer, I am not always right. I'm right probably in my own eyes, but I'm really not always right. In dealing with people, I find they're not always right, but I've had to learn how to deal with people in order to right what they perceive as a wrong, to try to smooth things over the best I can. But people aren't always right. But people are getting more and more demanding, and I think because they can get on their computer any hour of the night and do things, they expect that all businesses should be that way. My business closes on Sunday, and I'm just like, I'm going to take one day a week off, and absolutely, I don't even work on the homestead on Sundays. I rest on that day. I go to church. I come home. We have a good dinner. I'll take a nap. We'll get up and sit on the porch. We go back to church at night. Our church has church services at 6:30, and we rarely, we might miss once or twice a year, but we go back and we enjoy the fellowship with our like-minded believers, and we enjoy the worship at our church, and we just sit back and relax. And I'm like, people's learned, my regular folks that are my customers, they know they ain't no need to worry about calling. And they can call and leave a message on Sunday, and they'll usually say, hey, we know you'll call us on Monday. Now, some consider that poor customer service, but I need a day off every once in a while. I need some time for myself. But nonetheless, just getting back to customer service, and many think you got to be open. It's just when I go out and I work for my customers, one thing I pride myself on is treating others the way I'd want to be treated, treating them based off of the golden rule, doing to others as you'd have them do unto you, so to speak. That is one of the best principles, I think, for customer service. And so when I go out, I'm friendly to people because I expect to be treated friendly. And I'm neighborly to them because I expect to be treated neighborly. And I treat them fairly based on, I got to make a profit. I've got to make a living. But I try to treat everybody fairly and everybody equally, whether they're rich or poor, ugly, even hateful people. I try to treat them fairly. And sometimes I try to put myself in their shoes. I'm like, okay, I try to think from their logic what they are going through and why they're probably acting that way. But it does seem like with the younger culture and with this new emails and texting and all of that stuff that's going on, that people are losing their touch. I have relatives that you just don't see anymore except on Facebook. If you want to visit with them, you better visit with them on Facebook, and they'll get back with you on their time and their convenience. It's funny, you can put something to them on Facebook and they instantaneously have a response back, but you can call them on their phone and you can't get an answer. They won't answer the phone. They might call you back or they may not. I'm talking about family and friends, and we're just getting in this society that I'm afraid it's going to run us. This good society we used to have. I remember going to the local feed store over here when I was a boy with my grandpa, and one of the people that worked there originally, one of the original owners, is still alive. But it was a treat to go there. Everyone knew my grandpa, knew him by name. They would visit. My grandpa was not considered nothing special. He just had a few cows, probably 30, 40 head of cows, and he would go over and buy his, had a homestead basically, had chickens and pigs and things that he fed, raised his own food and gardening, which most people did at that time. So he would go over there and they knew him by name, and and stuff, and it was a treat going over there. I enjoyed going in that place. In fact, I always said it was a lumber yard / feed store, but they didn't have groceries, but they had about everything else in there, and it was a treat going over there. And it's still in existence today. They don't have computers as far as their tickets and stuff. They still handwrite up their tickets. They had a big storms come through last year over there. They didn't have electric. Well, that was no big deal. They just had lanterns and stuff in there. No air conditioning. It was hot in there, but you could go in and shop, and they stayed open for business till the electric was off a few days. And they survived and went through and done very well. And they just got hit by floods and flooded their building. And it looks like I haven't been in there shopping since the floods, but they're cleaning at the same time. But as far as I know, they're open for business. What stuff didn't get ruined, they'll sell to you. But it's good old customer service. And we do have a place here, a farmer's co-op, and it's about 20-30 miles from here. And I go down there every once in a while. I don't buy a lot of stuff, but those guys have learnt me in there. And they know my name, and when I come in the door, they'll holler out, "Hey, Mr. Ferguson, how are you today?" Even the younger ones are starting to do that there. There's an older gentleman that works there, but he kind of makes the business, and he had, I think, retired for a while and come back, but he's just valuable to their customer service. You know, he gets on the computer trying to type there. They have computers, they generate you a bill of sale through the computer and do the credit cards, and he's a little slow on the computer, but he is so good with people. And it's not just me he treats that way, it's the people that come in. And I was like, that man right there is making this business through his customer service, and it's rubbing off on the younger ones that's there, and they're doing the same thing. And I was like, I actually enjoy going in there. They don't act like I'm a hindrance by coming into their business. In fact, I'll pull up to the loading dock and I'll say, "Load me, I need 6 sacks of corn and, whole corn, 6 mineral blocks, whatever, I need that." And they just go ahead and start loading it. I don't even have to pay for it yet. I go in the building, pay for it, come back out. I mean, they're just a trusting and a good place. And sometimes one of them, that works back at the dock, he usually will say something about a gardening, wanting to know how my garden's coming along, and I'll visit with him about his garden and stuff. But to me, that's good customer service, getting to know your customers. But it seems like nowadays these big farm stores, it's like they want to just push you through, like, hurry up, we got to get you through because we got a whole line of customers. Most businesses now, the big businesses, have such a line of people waiting to pay, and they'll have, Lowe's is an example. Our Lowe's stores around here, they'll have, looks like 10 or 12 cash registers, and they'll have one register open, and people just piling up, and maybe they'll call for help and another register will open. But I'm thinking, there's a lot of money sitting here in these carts waiting to be checked out, and nobody to wait on you. And I guess that's where the automated stuff is coming in, where eventually it'll all be automated. You don't have to wait on things. But sometimes something isn't marked right or isn't labeled, and having a good old customer service representative is so important. But I think me whining about it or me bringing light to it is not going to do any good. But it seems like what few businesses really are offering good old-time customer service are faring better than those who haven't, unless they go totally internet like Amazon. And virtually, as long as you get your package, I guess that's their customer service. You don't see what goes on in the background. You never have to deal with a cranky cash register person. You never have to deal with nobody. You just order. 99.99% of the time, everything turns out okay. There's no human interaction as far as your dealings, and it just turns out and works. And for a little fee, we pay so much a month to have that convenience where we don't have to pay freight. 2 days later, you get it here, and I sit down at night and I think, hey, I need this little item. I'll just sit down and order it. 2 days later it's here, and I think I ain't had to deal with nobody. Then also you got to deal with other people when you go to the stores. I mean, you have people that will bump your vehicle with their car. You know, we went and ate a while back up in a neighboring town, and when I come back out, someone had hit their door and well, actually just hit their door. They turned too sharp, and their bumper hit my door and put a little crease in my truck. I was driving my work truck. I really took care of it and didn't have hardly any dings or dents in it. And they put first real dent in it on the side, and they said they had insurance and everything, and to contact them and they would make it right. And they just left a note on my windshield wipers, so I didn't do anything. I didn't bug them about it. I was just like, well, you know, the truck's getting a few miles on it now, and it's getting a few years, and ain't no big deal. But you know, the door opened and closed, everything's fine. But I still hate it every time I see that little crease in the door. But I know it would cost more than it's worth. But I was like, at least they left a note on there. Most people would have ran off and not even told you nothing about it. So I appreciated them doing that. But anyway, just a little rant today on coffee time here at Cedar Creek Homestead. And if you're not subscribed, well, we'd love to have your subscription. I'm trying to grow the channel. I got 175 or so, I believe it is, this recording. You know, I just trying to grow it a little bit, and if you'd like to subscribe, that'd help us out. And if you give us a thumbs up and or comment, as some of you have been commenting regularly, and I appreciate your comments. If you got something you'd like me to talk about sometime, or put it on here. I'm eventually going to try some of that live feed stuff. I'm just kind of new to all this YouTubing and Facebook. I mean, I've been at it about a year now, a little over a year, I guess, but I'm kind of crawling into it, but I'm learning as I go. And I like to share what's going on here at our homestead, and been putting up videos every day just about here lately of something going on with the cows or the garden or the poultry we have here, different things. And I hope it interests you, and I hope it helps you. That's the main thing I like about this lifestyle is, besides I love living this lifestyle, I love the YouTubing and Facebooking and that kind of stuff, because we get to interact and share, and I get to glean from what you guys are doing, and you can glean. I hope somebody will learn something from what I'm doing. You know, trying to show there's some people new to this stuff, and you know, I'm sure you need help, and I've been at it for a long time, but I tell you, I still need assistance. I have things that don't work on my homestead, so I watch your videos and see you running across the same things, and you'll try something and it works, and you got a new way of doing things. Hey, that's just great. It works, and I appreciate that very much. But appreciate you watching this week, and hope you have a great week. And once again, I'm going to try to air this on Tuesdays. Do a coffee time, I'm calling it, this little talk episode. And on Thursdays, I'm trying to upload something about the cattle here. I'm going to upload videos all week long. Anytime I have something, I'm going to put it up. But I'm going to try to do a specific cow-focused video on every Thursday. So some are just into cattle ranching. If that's all you're in tune with, well, you'll know that we'll be airing this every Thursday. Probably be in the evening time on Thursdays, probably in the afternoon or evening. And the same thing with coffee time. I'll probably air this Tuesday afternoon, evening, have it set to broadcast in. And of course, you can watch it anytime, and you know, might be 6 months later you're watching this, or a year. Hey, we appreciate you viewing, and may God richly bless you, and we'll see you next time here on Coffee Time. And thanks for joining us here at Cedar Creek Homestead. We're gone.